They're going after people just like you. They might have saw that really expensive iPhone 10 last year, and they brought a lot of that technology down to that new 10R model, $750. Gets you pretty much the same device as we got last year.
I don't even mind paying the $10.99 for the upgraded one. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get the alpha version or beta version of any of this stuff.
Exactly. And last year's 10 was pretty good. And and this is just, improving on that. The S model lines are just, kicks it up a notch. But the 10R is really, hey, maybe $1,000, $1,100 seem like too much for a lot of people. Well, here's a $750 version with a little bit weaker specs, but still gives you that same experience.
Historically, when Apple has approached the sort of middle tier, as opposed to when they've created this sort of separate tier, it hasn't worked to the same degree. Why?
Well, I wouldn't call this a middle tier phone. It's still $750. Right. If you rewind 2 years, an entry level new iPhone was $650. So in the last 2 years,
they've still bumped it up.
They've bumped it up. So they're going to increase their average selling prices of phones. That's going to boost profits, and they're making it seem more appealing because last year.
What do you think therefore is going to happen to the highest end phones in terms of sales of those phones?
That'll be really appealing to some people, and it's $1,100 again, boosting ASP, and it's 6.5 inches. That big screen size is the biggest screen size they've ever put on one of these phones.
How's this? It's like a mini iPad.
Yeah, it's approaching that size of a tablet, but they were able to cram so much screen onto a pretty solid form factor.
Side stuff around
exactly.
It anymore,
but it's no bigger. It's no bigger than the old 8.
The Plus model.
The 8 Plus, right? I used to always have a Plus. I loved it.
So they're cramming more screen onto that.
This is the first time I've actually wanted.
You want the bigger one. Yeah, exactly. The Max model. Yeah. That's going to appeal to a lot of people.
What about the watch? Does it matter that it has all of these things? I saw Fitbit shares down by about 7%. It looks like some serious competition.
Exactly, and that's not surprising at all. Apple's ambition from the beginning was to make this a health device, and we're finally seeing that realize that technology has finally caught up to the point they have that EKG reader in there now, so it can detect things like AFib. The FDA kind of gave it a nod. It's not technically a medical device, but you can see where they're going. Their ambition down the road, blood testing, blood pressure, and things of that nature, and they're starting now with heart rate and EKG. So eventually this is going to become more of a medical device than some kind of mini smartphone on your wrist.
Right. Jason, all that, and the stock still sold off a little bit yesterday. It's probably not surprising given what the stock has done over the last month.
Yeah, certainly, and I think anybody out there that's trying to take stock of any one day's worth of moves in Apple or any other security is doing themselves a great disservice. You got to look at the business over the long term, and so many of the things that Steve just mentioned about the event and the lineup from Apple that they've put forth for the the 10s series is the 10 and 10 Max, 10R is looking pretty strong in our view. I think there's kind of something for everybody in this whole playbook from Apple of bigger, faster, more expensive continues, and that's been very good for their business, and we think that is a nice kind of entry into the Apple ecosystem for many people that have older generation phones and for those that are looking to upgrade to Apple for the first time. So we like the event, and we think the business is doing just fine.
What do you think about the stock, just valuation-wise?
Valuation is cheap. Despite the fact that we've had this rally, the fundamentals per share have continued to increase, and that's something you want to see as an investor. Whether it's sales growth, and sure, a lot of that sales growth recently has been on the back of higher ASPs, and more importantly for us, better sales growth in the services business, which comes with higher margins, so we're happy about that. So growth is there, but if you look at the PE on the stock, especially ex-cash, it's still trading below the market, the S&P 500, using that as an example of the market. So we continue to think that there's good relative value for Apple.